Over the last 2.5 years, I've reviewed and cooked in dozens of air fryers, doing proper hands-on testing in my family kitchen. And in this video, I'm going to give you a guide for what to look for when you buy your first air fryer, and also show you a few of the best models available right now. This video is actually a companion video to a video I released last week where I showed the top 6 PFAS-free air fryers. These are the remaining ones, and although they aren't PFAS-free, they do meet current health regulations. So first of all, here's what you need to consider beyond budget when you choose an air fryer. Air fryer manufacturers advise 1 litre of capacity per person. I've always thought that that's crazily ambitious, and I would say to look for 2 litres per person. So for 4 people, you want to consider a model which is about 8 litres capacity. Most people use air fryers daily or at least several times a week, so it's going to need a permanent space on your worktop and space for air to circulate around it when you're using it. If you're pushed for room to keep it out all the time, you might want to consider getting a stacked model, and I'll tell you about a couple of those in this video. Mini ovens are more versatile than air fryers because generally you'll have a larger single surface area, but drawer versions usually have quicker cooking times because they mostly have overhead fans. Personally, I prefer the drawer air fryers. It's worth spending your money on a known brand with a track record, good customer support and adequate safety features. At minimum, you want an air fryer with automatic shut-off, which will turn the air fryer off if it starts overheating. There's been a lot in the news about air fryer fires, and this is one of the things that you can do to help safety. The ones in this video all have that, and so do most big brands, but if you're going cheaper, it's worth checking it is included. And also, I'm very aware that the air fryers I'm about to recommend come from just 2 manufacturers, but you'll find the brand recommendations are much more varied in the PFAS-Free video that accompanies this. So first, I've made lots of different videos about the Ninja Dual Zone. It's been incredibly successful in the UK, and you'll see it in loads of people's kitchens. There are 3 different versions: the 7.6 litre, 9.5 litre, and in addition, there's a 9.5 litre version with a built-in cooking probe. I bought the smaller one for our family of 4 back in 2023, and then I upgraded quite quickly to the bigger one, the AF400. The bigger one doesn't take up any noticeable extra space on the worktop, but the extra capacity inside is really useful. And I often find that if you're buying tins or dishes, that they fit in the 400, but they don't fit in the 300. All the Ninja dual drawer air fryers have 2 independent cooking zones, each with their own fan, and there's a solid wall between the 2 that divides the 2 cooking areas, which makes them a good choice for families that have a vegetarian in the family. Ninja air fryers also have different settings: max crisp, air fry, roast, bake, reheat and dehydrate. And those settings all have different fan speeds which suit the type of cooking. A lot of other air fryers look like they have this function, but it often turns out that they have presets, not settings. So they are literally just pre-programmed times and temperatures without different fan speeds. The controls on the Ninja Dual Drawer are also clearly laid out and easy to understand, and Ninja's instruction books are excellent, very comprehensive and actually enjoyable to read. If you're new to air frying and a Facebook user, you'll also find loads of Ninja air fryer groups where you can pick up tips and share recipe ideas. Another alternative option to this model is the Cosori dual drawer. I ultimately switched from my Ninja to the Cosori because I like the fact that it has extra features like preheat and shake reminder. But for some people who just want a simple interface, the Ninja might actually be better. I've literally spent 2.5 years answering comments with questions on them about which is better, the Cosori or the Ninja. I tried to do a side-by-side comparison video and objectively decide which is better, But honestly, the more time that goes on, the more I think it's just down to personal choice. Neither are wrong. Just find the one that suits you and, to be honest, the one that's on the best deal at the time that you buy. Next, it's the Cosori Twinfry. It's a single drawer air fryer with a clever twist, a removable divider that lets you choose between one large cooking zone or two smaller ones with independent temperatures. So you can roast a joint on one day in the big drawer, and then you can pop the divider back in and use it like a two-drawer model the next day. There are a few similar models to this, including the Ninja Flex drawer, but the reason I picked the Cosori is because the drawer in the Cosori has a completely flat bottom, which I think makes it more versatile. Unlike most dual models, the Twinfry actually has 4 heating elements, 2 on top, 2 underneath, which is supposed to give you more even browning and mean that you need to do less shaking. In my test with frozen chips, 15 minutes at 200 Celsius, no shaking, the results were evenly browned. But with sausages, which were packed quite tightly in, they did need shaking, which probably just proves the usual rule that regardless of the number of heating elements, you shouldn't overfill your drawer. The Twinfry is also a smart air fryer, so you can connect it to the VSync app, control each zone separately, or just ignore the Wi-Fi altogether if that's not your thing. The Twinfry has the same 6 functions as the Ninja dual drawer, and like that model, also has variable fan speeds. Despite the extra heating elements, it actually uses less power than the Ninja AF400, even with both zones running. There are 2 things to be aware of with this model and with all air fryers of this design with a large drawer that divides. The first is that washing the drawer can be a little bit tricky because it's large, and secondly, the removable divider is not as good at separating the 2 cooking zones as a permanent divider would be. So you may find that there's some heat bleed between the 2 sides. Now, before I give you the next recommendations, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe so you can easily find this channel again, and I'd really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up too. Next, it's the Cosori TurboTower, the standard version of Cosori's new stacked air fryer design. It launched alongside the Pro version a couple of months ago. The Pro has Wi-Fi, ceramic coating, and an extra heating element. But this standard model still has a lot going for it. It's 10.8 litres capacity with 2 different sized drawers. The bottom one is 6.5 litres and the top is 4.3 litres. It also comes with a rack which fits in the lower drawer and effectively creates a 3rd cooking space. Ninja also make their own stacked air fryer, but I chose the Cosori ahead of the double stack because the Cosori has heating elements above the drawers rather than at the back, which makes it better at even browning. And if you do want to cook anything liquid or saucy, the Cosori has solid backs to the drawers rather than the Ninja, which has vents. The TurboTower has got a temperature range from 30 to 230 Celsius, and depending which retailer you buy it from, yes, it's complicated. It either has 6 or 7 cooking modes with different fan speeds. So you'll get a fast fan for crisping with air fry and a slow one for proofing dough or making yogurt. In my test, the salmon fillet cooked perfectly in 10 minutes, reaching 60 Celsius internally, and the roast potatoes came out golden after 30 minutes at 200 Celsius, with a shake every 10 minutes. And I'm also going to throw a single drawer air fryer option into the mix. At 6.2 litres, the Ninja Pro is great for a couple or a family with one young child. The design has a pyramid-shaped basket that maximises cooking surface, and it comes in either silver or copper trim. Inside, you'll find a nano ceramic coated crisper plate that can sit in 2 positions, low for even cooking or higher up for browning and baking. It's not designed for stacked cooking above and below the plate, but you can still dehydrate food on 2 levels when the plate's in the lower position. Like the other Ninja air fryers I've mentioned, the Pro includes the 6 cooking modes: max crisp, air fry, roast, bake, reheat and dehydrate. In testing, it comfortably fit 2.2 kilogram chicken and handled salmon, chips, and even 4 pudding moulds at once. Personal preference, but I like the solid control buttons on this model because they feel more durable than Ninja's touch panels. So the Ninja Pro is a really good choice to dip your toe in the air fryer water as a family if you're not convinced that you need a dual drawer model yet, because it's big enough to cook for multiple people, but it's also small enough to stick in a cupboard if you find you don't use it every day. Links to all of these air fryer recommendations are in the description below, along with details as to whether they're on a particular deal at the moment. And the PFAS-free video should be appearing on the screen right now.